Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Tonight's guest covers horse racing for Horse Racing Nation and the Daily Gallop. Jeff Byrnes, how are you doing on this Friday night?
Doing good, Madison. Sitting here getting ready for what should be a fun day of racing at Monmouth Park tomorrow.
Yes, it should be a fun day at Monmouth Park for sure. The Haskell is tomorrow evening. I believe 6:45 is the post time.
Yes, around 6:45 will be broadcast. I'm sorry, 5:45 is the time of the Haskell. Will be broadcast live on NBC.
Yep, on NBC, of course, with all those guys that do a great job covering horse racing there. So I have the field pulled up right in front of me. The horse in the one spot is Dr. Post. Todd Fletcher is the trainer, and then the jockey is Joe Bravo. 5-2 odds. Dr. Post, if I'm not mistaken, was in the Belmont Stakes, wasn't he?
That is correct. Dr. Post is coming off of a runner-up effort in the Belmont Stakes. Was second behind Tis the Law. This is a horse who has definitely been on the improve. Before the Belmont, he won the Unbridled Stakes at Gulfstream Park, going a mile and a 16th. That was his second win of his career. He comes to Monmouth Park. Will be going a mile and an eighth this time, as opposed to the Belmont. He'll be going 2 turns. So I think that should very much play into his favor. This is the horse I said who's definitely been on the improve. Joe Bravo is a very intriguing jockey aboard. His previous rider was supposed to be Irad Ortiz, but because of some strict guidelines that New York has put in place, he's actually being here. So Joe Bravo is actually a very good pickup call for him. He's run very consistently throughout his career. I think the one post will definitely be a good advantage to him as far as speed goes. He's really gonna need some speed up front. He'll definitely get some, courtesy of Authentic and a couple others in here we'll get to later on. But I think this horse is definitely, like I said, on the improve, posting good works in the morning, including a sharp 4 furlong drill last week. And if he runs his race 2 back in the Unbridled Stakes, and if he improves off the Belmont, I think he's a very dangerous player here.
Yeah, I agree with you about Dr. Post. The number 2 horse is your 4-5 favorite. That's Authentic. Bob Baffert is the trainer. Mike Smith, the jockey. Tell us about the favorite here in Authentic.
Authentic, this is a very talented racehorse. He shifts in from California to Monmouth Park. Trainer Bob Baffert is going for his record 9th Haskell victory. His last Haskell victory came, though, in 2015 with Triple Crown winner American Pharoah. So Authentic is shipping in. He's won 2 stakes races in his career, the Sham Stakes going a mile and the San Felipe going a mile and a 16th. His last win in the San Felipe, he took the lead, went wire to wire. That was his last start in 3 months, and then he came back in the Santa Anita Derby and ran okay, but kind of a little disappointing because he didn't really challenge the leaders. He was second behind a horse named Honor AP, who was projected to be one of the favorites for the Kentucky Derby. Even though I think he's a talented horse, the pedigree-wise, I think he concerns me a little bit. He's a horse by a colt named Into Mischief, who has primarily sired horses about sprinting / up to a mile distances. A mile and an eighth could be a little bit too far for him. That's my biggest worry for him. The talent certainly is there. Obviously, you can't go wrong with the jockey-trainer combo of Mike Smith and Bob Baffert. So if there is a one kryptonite for him, I think it could be the distance, but he certainly has the talent. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes to the lead and just takes this field wire to wire, but there certainly is some reservations I have for him.
Okay, yeah, so there's Authentic. So the 3 horses, is it Jesus team or Jesus team?
Jesus.
I thought it was Jesus, yeah. Jose D'Angelo is the trainer, and Nick Juarez is your jockey. 15-1 odds for Jesus team.
Jesus team, this horse is starting to come into form. He's won 2 out of his last 3. He was actually claimed for $25,000 back in March earlier this year, so could have got a good bargain for him if you wanted to own him. He's coming off a second-place finish in an allowance race at Gulfstream Park. The significance of that race was the winner of that race was a horse named Sol Volante. Sol Volante was 6th in the Belmont Stakes behind Tis the Law and Dr. Post. So a very live race he was coming out of. The horses in that race were on a speed duel, and the leaders came back to them. Sol Volante got the jump on Jesus' team and outran him. He's not going to get a speed duel, I think, here today. So he's 15-1 on the morning line. I think it's a good price for him. If the leaders, Authentic and a couple others here could be vying for the lead, unless there's a big speed duel, I don't know quite exactly if he's going to be up to this kind of par. But I could definitely see him playing out of the exotics, possibly getting third or fourth.
Yeah, so Sol Volante, I remember that horse. A lot of people picked him as a dark horse to win the Haskell, the Belmont about a month ago. I remember that horse. Ancient Warriors, the 4-horse. Jerry Hollandover is your trainer, and Trevor McCarthy is your jockey. 20-1 is Ancient Warriors odds.
Ancient Warrior, this is the horse who, one of the longest shots in the field. He's 20-1 on the morning line. This will actually be his first race going 2 turns. All of his races have been at 6 furlongs or 6.5 furlongs. So he's kind of a mystery horse to me. He has 1 win in 5 career starts. That 1 win came all the way back in November of 2019, which he won a race going wire to wire. Since then, he has finished the 4th, 6th, and 2 straight third place finishes. I think the connections here are trying to take a chance, see what they have with him. Obviously, I think the connections, he's a quote by Constitution, who is the sire of Tis the Law. So pedigree-wise, I think he'll be good to go for the mile and an eighth. I just don't think he has the enough talent to possibly run with these. But obviously, at any race, anybody can win. But obviously, Trevor McCarthy aboard to ride. McCarthy is a very good rider in the Mid-Atlantic, so I think he's the right rider for him. Jerry Hollendorfer, a very good trainer in his own right. It's going to be Ancient Warrior. Definitely will be a surprise if he wins, though.
Yeah, I agree with you about that for the win at least. Fame to Famous is your 5-horse. John P. McGowan is the trainer. Jose C. Ferrer, the jockey. 30-1 odds.
Fame to Famous. This is the longest shot on the field. He's 30-1 on the morning line. This is the horse who, in 9 career starts, 8 of them have been on the turf course. His lone start on the dirt course, he finished 11th in the Risen Star Stakes. Very disappointing effort there. The connections here are just taking a very, very big chance, and it certainly will be a shocker if this horse can come off and pull off the victory. The good thing going for him is he has been working well in the mornings. There should be a pretty quick pace. I wouldn't say too quick, but if he were to win, it would definitely be a shocker.
Yeah, I'd say so too. 30-1 is a very long shot on the board. Your 6-horse is Libda. Claudio Gonzalez is your trainer, and Alex Cintron, the jockey. 20-1 is Libda's odds.
Libda, this horse intrigues me a little bit. He's coming off of a 6th place finish in the Ohio Derby. Even though he finished 6th, it was actually, I think, a better than look 6th. He was in a part of a 13-horse field that day. He was part of a wicked speed duel up front. The leader, the winner of that race, Dan Martini, actually hung around and held on for the victory. The leaders all faded. But this horse, Aleppo, was making his first start in 3 months. Before that, he was winning races in Maryland. He won the Private Term Stakes going away by 4 lengths. Before that, the Miracle was Stakes by a length. So this horse in Maryland was running very well and actually was beating some pretty good competition down there. Now, the long layoff possibly could have affected him and his ability to run in Ohio. But today he faces only 6 other rivals as opposed to just 12 in the Ohio Derby. So I think at 20-1 you can get a good value for him. And I think if he can get to the lead and possibly set some pretty good fractions, I think he could be around at the end and could pull off an upset.
Yeah, I am very intrigued with this horse as well. And then last but not least in the field, New York Traffic. Safi Joseph Jr. is the trainer, and Paco Lopez is the jockey. 7-2 odds.
Yeah, New York Traffic in 2020 has really come into his own. He won a mile and a 16th allowance race at the beginning of the year, won that going away, and he has been running in stakes racing since. He was a close third in the Risen Star, and then back-to-back seconds in the Louisiana Derby and that win. This horse has front-end speed, can either be on the lead or can sit right off. He's definitely going to be among the leaders early on with Authentic and Libda. The outside post doesn't concern me because it's a small field, but he's been training very, very well coming into this race, including 2 back-to-back fast drills at Gulfstream Park in Florida. Safi Joseph has him in the right spot. I think Paco Lopez is a good, intriguing addition to him. I think my biggest concern with him though is that for some reason he just can't pull through. It seems like when he has the right trip and things go his way, he just can't get up in time. Obviously, this is probably one of the smallest fields that he's faced, so I think he definitely has a better chance today. But if he can get to the winner's circle, it'll be big for him.
Yeah, I like this horse, New York Traffic, as well. Before we get into some undercard picks that you like, what is your win, place, and show for the Haskell Invitational?
For the Haskell, my top pick to win will be Dr. Post. I think he's coming around at the right time. The Belmont Stakes was a 1-turn mile and an eighth. I think this horse is ultimately better going 2 turns. Faces a smaller field. The competition isn't as tough as he faced in the Belmont. He's coming into the race in the right form, and I think the pedigree obviously is going to be right up his wheelhouse. So I think this will be a breakout race for him. I think this will put him on the map on the road to Kentucky Derby.
That's a good call. Who do you like for the place?
Second place, I like Authentic. Bob Baffert, like I say, he's going for his 9th Haskell victory, which is the all-time record for the race. I think he definitely has the talent. Definitely has the right connections with him. But like I said before, I think the mile and an eighth concerns me just a little bit for him. I mean, he seems like he's running well at anything less than a mile and an eighth, but his one try that distance, he didn't seem to quite go as fairly well. But certainly talent-wise, he has it, and I think he'll definitely be there at the end.
Yes, and how about the show?
For my show, I like Libda. He really has intrigued me over the last little bit, and I like the way he's working coming in. He posted a strong 4-furlong workout just last week. I think the 6th place finish in Ohio was really a tune-up for this race. Shorter field, he'll be on the lead. Monmouth Park typically is a speed-favoring track, so I think that'll definitely play to his advantage, and I think he'll definitely be a live long shot looking at.
Yeah, so my predictions for win, place, and show, I am going to go Authentic for the win. I believe in Bob Baffert and Mike Smith. I am just pro Bob Baffert when it comes to big races. So I believe he'll get his first Haskell win since American Pharoah back in 2015. I actually remember that when American Pharoah won the Haskell after the Triple Crown.
I was there for that race.
You were there, wow. Second, I'm going to go... what was your last?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, yeah, I was actually, that was a fun day in 2015. I actually still have the $2 winning ticket from that day.
That's funny. I remember my mom went to Monmouth the day of the Belmont that year. And her and her friend went to Monmouth the day of the Belmont, and I told her to put a bet down for American Pharoah for me, and then he won the Triple Crown. So that's my 2015 memory of horse
Very
racing. Nice. But yeah, my place, I'm going to go Dr. Post. Like you said, he's on the rise. He came in second in the Belmont. I'm a fan of Dr. Post. And then 3 for the show. I'm going with you. I'm going with Libda. This horse is very intriguing to me. 20-1, long shot to win. Like, I wouldn't mind putting down a 20-1 even for the win, but I probably would do Libda for the show just to play it safe. So I'm going to go with Libda for the show. So before we move on to football and baseball, do you like any of the undercard races in particular?
Yeah, there are some intriguing races on the undercard, particularly race number 10, the Grade 3 Monmouth Cup. A field of 10 will be going postward in that race. Very good field. My pick for that race is the number 1 horse, Global Campaign. Last year, he won a race called the Peter Pan Stakes, in which the second place finisher was a horse named Sir Winston. Sir Winston came back to win the Belmont Stakes, his very next start. This is a horse that's been up and down for most of his career, but he's getting the blinkers off. He draws the rail, has good speed out of the gate. I think he can pull away from this field. But the undercard races, there's a Grade 3, the Grade 1 United Nations Stakes. There possibly could be a first-time Grade 1 winner in there. Very wide open field, good betting options all up and down. And just the Grade 3 Molly Pitcher, race 14, the final race of the day. There's a horse named Royal Flag for trainer Chad Brown, who has really come into her own this year. I think that could be a breakout race for her, and possibly we could hear her name on the road to the Breeders' Cup. So just a very intriguing car all the way around.
Yeah, it does look like a very intriguing card. So before we go, a couple football and baseball things I want to get to. Let's go football first. The big story of the week in the NFL, Dak Prescott does not get the contract extension from the Dallas Cowboys. Do you think this could very well be a distraction for the team this season?
The Cowboys sure hope not. I don't ultimately think it's going to be a distraction, but I do think that it could affect the performance of Dak Prescott. Not saying that he does. I think Dak Prescott's in line for a great year, but it's going to be interesting to see how motivated he is to possibly convince Jerry Jones and company with the Cowboys that he is worth $35-40 million a year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he's getting paid $31 million this year as part of the franchise tag. So I think Prescott is going to be motivated. The Cowboys, I hope it's not going to be a distraction for him, and hopefully they can get a deal done next year because they don't want to go down the road that Kirk Cousins went down and ultimately left him leaving the Redskins.
Yeah, that's right. That was a couple years ago. Their own division rivals had that Kirk Cousins situation, and then he left the Redskins to go to the Vikings, and he won a playoff game with the Vikings, and now the Redskins have Dwayne Haskins. So maybe they learned that lesson from their division rivals. Someone who did get paid the other day was Titans running back Derrick Henry, who's coming off a career year. What do you make of that contract extension?
Good for him. Derrick Henry was one of the best running backs in football. I would probably say he carried that offense all the way to the AFC Championship against the Chiefs. And he was very good against Baltimore. He did his part against the Patriots. He certainly established himself as a top running back in this league, and he got rewarded for it. So I think it's a good contract for him, and I expect him to have another great season in 2020.
Yes, I do expect him to be great for the Tennessee Titans in 2020 as well. I thought that was a well-deserved contract extension for Derrick Henry. Another player that got paid that surprised me a little bit because of the timing of this, Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns. What did you make of that extension? 5 years, $125 million, $100 million guaranteed.
Yeah, that one definitely surprised me. Considering how big the contract was, and considering he hasn't played since the whole incident with Mason Rudolph and what happened in the aftermath of it, I was kind of surprised over how much he was given, and just appears Cleveland has their top defensive player for at least the next 5 years, and I guess they were okay with his behavior, and ultimately so.
Yeah, so he gets that contract extension, which is surprising to me. Another contract extension that surprised me too, considering that the Chiefs just gave Mahomes that 10-year, $500+ million extension. Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs got paid as well. 4 years, $85 million contract extension. That one surprised me because there were rumors that they were going to trade him. So what did you make of that contract extension?
I ultimately was surprised that he came up with a deal right before the deadline, and ultimately he got paid very nicely for the position he plays. He's a very key part of that Chiefs defense, really a leader of that defense, and considering the mammoth contract that Patrick Mahomes got, they were still able to afford him, and it's just amazing how the GM Brett Veach was able to secure Patrick Mahomes, bring back Chris Jones, and really, he reworked Sammy Watkins' contract as well, I believe, this offseason.
Yep, he did.
In order for him to come back. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe 20 of the 22 starting players are coming back for the Chiefs next season. So they're going to be more motivated and hungry than ever. And Brett Veach probably should be GM of the year, and the year hasn't even started yet. It's an amazing job what he has done in that front office.
I agree with you, and I think this team has the best shot to repeat as Super Bowl champs, probably since the team that last repeated as Super Bowl champs, which was the Patriots. Although we had a couple close calls over the past couple years, even with the Patriots when they lost to the Eagles, and then the Seahawks almost repeated, but we all know what happened, and Pete Carroll and didn't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch, and then we know how that game ended. So yeah, I do think the Chiefs have an excellent chance to repeat as Super Bowl champions as well. Before we go, let's go to baseball real quick, rapid fire. The season starts in a week from today. Let's do some division picks. By the way, my picks are actually going to be on the Mega Show on Wednesday that I'm going to do. So let's go around the divisions and wild cards. So who do you like in the American League East? That I think we agree on.
Yeah, I like the Yankees. I think this team is just so strong, especially with the addition of Garrett Cole. It's going to be, honestly, I truly cannot wait to see Garrett Cole on the mound for the Yankees. It's been a long time coming. And I just think that team is so strong up and down the lineup. Aaron Judge looks like he's back and healthy. Giancarlo Stanton says he's ready to go. Looks like DJ LeMahieu has recovered from COVID-19. He was back out there practicing today. So this team is starting to get healthy and coming together at the right time. And should be a fun year for the Yankees and hopefully bigger and better for them.
Yep, I agree there. And then the AL Central, I think, is pretty open between 3 teams. What about you?
I still like the Minnesota Twins. I think they could still go back and they could do what they did last year. I think they still have a lot of power in that lineup. I think as long as everybody stays healthy, as long as everybody plays their roles right, I think they have a good chance to repeat.
Yeah, I do too. The pitching isn't that great per se, but Josh Donaldson in that lineup really makes them a lot better. The AL West, I think, is going to be a little bit more interesting than people think. What about you?
I think it'll be interesting. I think the Oakland A's are a team coming on well. The Los Angeles Angels, I think, are, especially in a shortened season, I think they can be an interesting player in their division. I don't know. Is Justin Verlander ready to go for the season? I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of updates on him.
Justin Verlander, I believe, is ready to go.
Yeah, so if Verlander's not there, I think Houston could be a little bit of trouble as far as pitching depth goes. I know they have Zach Greinke, but obviously without Verlander, without Garrett Cole, he'll off to the Yankees. But even though the offense is still there, I'd still definitely be a part of the division race. But that'll definitely be an intriguing division for sure.
Yeah, so the NL East, I think, is the best division in baseball, arguably, with the exception of one team, obviously, the Marlins. So who do you like in the NL East?
I still like the Atlanta Braves. I think even though apparently Yasiel, they just signed Yasiel Puig, but he actually tested positive for COVID-19 today. Yep. So that was a very sad sight to see.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they're still a very strong team. Obviously, Ronald Acuna and Freddie Freeman, he just got cleared, so he's back today. But I think the Atlanta Braves certainly are a strong team. And the pitching depth, they got a good manager. I just think as long as everybody plays their role, plays their part, they'll be okay.
Yeah, the Braves should be very good yet again. Young pitching, Freddie Freeman and Acuna in that lineup. The NL Central's in the conversation for best division as well. Who do you like there?
That's certainly going to be a tough division. The Milwaukee Brewers, I think, are going to be really, really tough. The St. Louis Cardinals, though, I think are going to be my pick. I think a 60-game season for them is going to be right up their wheelhouse. They got good young pitching now. Jack Flaherty has really come on strong over the last year or two. He's becoming a breakout star. Matt Carpenter, Yadier Molina, even though he's in the twilight years of his career, he's certainly still playing strong. So I think it's the St. Louis Cardinals with their pitching and their batting, I think they certainly can come at the Milwaukee Brewers for the division title.
Yeah, the Cardinals, I think, are being a little bit undervalued going into the season. But yeah, Flaherty, ace. I agree with you on Molina. He's still very good, although he's in the twilight of his career. And then Matt Carpenter could be the DH now, because don't forget, NL DH now. That benefits the Cardinals and Matt Carpenter there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. They have the DH now in the NL.
Yeah, so that should be more fun. And then the NL West, I think, is kind of obvious, too.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers. The Dodgers are the best team in the NL West, even though I think they're one caveat is I believe David Price, he opted out, right?
Yes,
he's not going to be playing this year?
Yes, he did opt out.
Yeah, he opted out, but that team is still very strong. I mean, Clayton Kershaw is, well, I think he's without a question the best pitcher on their team. The addition of Mookie Betts, I mean, the AL MVP from a couple of years ago, just makes that team stronger, and they're not only going to be contenders for the West, but they're definitely going to be contenders for the pennant again.
Oh, absolutely agree with you there. How about the AL wildcard teams?
The wild card teams, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays because I believe they're going to have a very strong season, and it actually won't surprise me if they actually give the Yankees a run for their money this year. I mean, they're a young team, a very good team, but I'll go with the Tampa Bay Rays, and I'll go with the Cleveland Indians for my wild card teams.
Not bad. I would say that those are very, very realistic options for the wild card team. So that's a good call there. Especially Tampa Bay because I think the Yankees are very strong. Although I agree with you that they're going to give them a run for their money, and I won't be shocked if the Rays end up with a better record than, say, the AL Central winner or even the AL West winner, depending on how the West goes. How about the NL wild cards?
The NL wild card, I think it could be a little bit more tricky. For the wild card in the NL, I'll go with the Brewers, and we'll go with the Phillies. I like the Phillies this year.
Those are two surprises in my mind, but it wouldn't stun me if they made it, but it would be somewhat of a surprise, especially Philadelphia. But hey, they had a Didi, they had a Zach Wheeler, so I think they do have a shot, and that division is very good. So that's what worries me about both those teams. But you never know. It's a short season. I think the short season, by the way, could very well benefit the Brewers because of the strength of their bullpen, and I think the bullpens are going to matter in this short season. How about your World Series match and winner?
World Series, start with the National League side first. I think it's going to ultimately be the. I like the Atlanta Braves for the World Series. I think they had a great season last year. I think they took a little bit of a step back against the St. Louis Cardinals in the divisional round, but I think they're going to come back more motivated, more hungrier. So I like the Braves in the National League, and in the American League, it's going to be really tough to overcome either the Yankees or the Astros. Ultimately, I think the Yankees will get it because their starting pitching is strong. Even though Tanaka had that brief scare, it looks like he's coming back, and he actually threw, I believe, a bullpen session the other day. But I think the Yankees, their bullpen, their starting pitching, their hitting I believe it could be too strong for the American League. So I think Yankees Braves in the World Series.
Not a bad choice. I think that actually could happen. How about American League MVP?
American League MVP. That's actually a good question. Honestly, I won't surprise me if it's with Alex Bregman. I like Alex Bregman for the AL MVP. I think he's going to have a big year this year.
Yeah, that's a very good call. He arguably should have won it last year, but they gave it to...
I think he should have won it last year, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. He absolutely should have won it last year. They gave it to Trout. I think that it's because... My conspiracy theory is because all the rumors about the cheating came out, and that kind of is what held him back, to be quite honest. So, yeah, that's a good call for AL MVP. What about the other side for National League?
I'll go Ronald Acuna.
That's good. I like that pick. That's a really good pick, I'd say.
I think he's he's been getting better and better every year. The short 60-game season, I think he's gonna have a good time with the 60-game schedule.
Yeah, I think that's a really strong pick for the MVPs. Before we go, how about the Cy Youngs on each side?
Cy Young, I think. I don't want to be biased, but I think Garrett Cole is going to get it for the Yankees. I think he looks so good. I don't know if you're watching the inter squad game.
Oh, I have been.
He looks tremendous, and I think he's ready to go. And on the National League side, I think Jacob deGrom will get it for another one.
Wow, three-peat.
Year in, year out, yeah, I think he'll go for the three-peat. I think year in, year out, he just dominates everybody in the lineup, and I think he's going to be in line for another great year.
Yeah, those are two obviously chalk picks, but good calls, safe bets, as everybody would say. I think those two are actually the betting favorites in their respective leagues. All right, quickly, what's next for horse racing after the Haskell?
Well, Belmont Stakes winner Tiz the Law is actually going to be making his final start before the Kentucky Derby in the Grade 1 Travers Stakes at Saratoga on August 8th. A couple other horses from the Belmont are going to be pointing there. Third place finisher Max Player is also going to be pointing there. Yesterday was the local prep, the Peter Pan Stakes. A horse named Country Grammar was the winner for trainer Chad Brown. Brown said he came out in the race well. He'll be pointing for the Travers. So first and possibly and hopefully only time that the Travers will be a prep for the Kentucky Derby. But so that's arguably what's next for racing. Tiz the Law will be making one final start before the Derby.
Yeah, so I'm sure I'll have you on before the Derby, which is September 5th. And I hope you have a great night and enjoy the Haskell.
All right, thank you, Madison. And if you want to check out my picks for the 14 race card at Monmouth Park tomorrow, they'll be online at thedailygallop.net. Very fun website. You'll get to all my picks from Monmouth Park there.
All right, sounds good. Have a good night.
All right, thank you.